As a child, summer was always my favorite season. Summer in my memories are always sunny and warm. Summer meant no responsibilities as school was out of session and I could play all day long. I would count down the days until the pool was open or I could swim in the lake. Swimming was my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. As an adult, autumn is my favorite season, when a crisp chill brushes against my arms, demanding I get cozy in a sweater. Every year I overplan my autumn season. Autumn breathes life into my soul. I come alive as the leaves on the trees begin to change color. I'm so excited to spend this autumn with you. Come along with me as I welcome autumn in the best way I know how.
Hi pals, I'm so glad you're here to celebrate the first day of autumn with me. I have a full itinerary lined up for us today. First, we're going to go get a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, and then we will be going to the forest where I will walk around for a little bit and then lay my blanket down and we will talk about all things autumn. That includes activities to do, books to read, movies to watch, and TV shows to watch as well. And I'm so excited to share what I will be doing this fall to make myself feel the most autumnal. All right, so let's get started. I'll see you when we get to Starbucks. Unfortunately, Starbucks was out of pumpkin spice, and so I didn't get a pumpkin spice latte like I had wanted, but that's perfectly fine. Things happen, and we're well into pumpkin spice latte season right now, so it makes complete sense that they would be out right now. But I did get a venti cafe vanilla frappuccino, so I'll enjoy that on the ride to the forest. And I also did luck out and they had pumpkin loaf, so I'll enjoy that too. And it's still autumnal and I'm still very excited about it, and it's also my first pumpkin loaf of the season, so it all works out in the end. But I'm gonna head to the forest now and I will meet you when I get there.
Okay, it took me like an hour and a half to get here. I'm all set up and ready to film now. And I'm like low-key afraid that I'm gonna be told that like I can't be here. Like that I cannot film in this area. Which like I'm not doing anything. I am though in a like campground area, but like nobody's using it. And like it just provided me a little bit more quiet and privacy as I film instead of doing the trails, as I'm currently in a state park full of very active, very beautiful trails. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just like nervous that I'm gonna be told like, no, that I can't be here, or that I can't be doing this here, and that will foil my entire plan for the day. Especially after it took me an hour and a half to get here. But it was worth it. It's so beautiful here. Alright, pals, I think it's time to talk about all things autumn. Books, TV shows, movies, anything, all things autumn. I absolutely encourage you to read the books, watch the movies, the TV shows, partake as you wish, and take from this whatever will make you feel most autumnal, because these are just things that I think or know will make this autumn feel like autumn to me and will give me the cozy, warm, happy vibes and like feelings that I want this season. So don't feel like I'm telling you have to do any of this, because you don't. Take from it what you will, leave what you don't want to do, what you don't think will bring you autumn vibes, and just enjoy the season, because that's all that I think anybody should do, really. Alright, so I'll be talking about movies and TV shows, books, and activities that I will be doing this autumn, or will attempt to do this autumn, to make this autumn more festive and fun and cozy for myself. Autumn and winter are really two seasons that I've always just watched seasonally appropriate content more than any other time of the entire year. I will watch seasonally appropriate content in autumn and winter. So this autumn I have a huge list of movies that I want to attempt to watch. Some of them are new, some of them are favorites that I return to every single year and that just make the season feel like cozy and warm and autumn and nostalgia and all of the just perfect best vibes. And so I will be talking about movies and TV shows first. So starting with nostalgic movies that I will be watching this fall, and in no particular order either. There's no hierarchy within these movies. They're just movies that I watched as a child growing up, and that just make the season feel autumnal and spooky and cozy and warm and nostalgic and brings me back to my childhood. And so these are movies that I tend to watch every single year around autumn, and it's just my absolute, they're my favorite, and I highly recommend every single one of them. I grew up watching Hocus Pocus every autumn in preparation for Halloween. All I wanted as a child was to visit Salem, where witches once lived and were once revered, if not a little feared. I love Hocus Pocus so much. It never fails to get me into the Halloween spirit, and I watch it every year. Not as much as they play it on like TV or stuff, like, you know, when it's scheduled on TV to play. I don't watch it that often. I feel like it loses its magic if I watch it too often, but I don't mind watching it a couple of times every autumn
just to get me into the Halloween spirit and the Halloween vibes and feel spooky, cozy, like a child again around Halloween time. If you don't know what Hocus Pocus is, Hocus Pocus follows Max, a teenager who moved to Salem with his parents and little sister Danny. Max learns about the Sanderson sisters in school and doesn't believe in it. While taking his sister trick-or-treating, he runs into this girl named Allison who he has a crush on, and they end up all going to what is now a museum, but what once was the Sanderson house, where Max lights the black flame candle, and shenanigans ensue as the Sanderson sisters rise up from the dead, and Max, Danny, and Allison have to take care of it and save the entire town. It's a lot of Halloween fun, and I just absolutely love it, and I highly recommend. Okay, I could go quite literally on forever about this movie. Scary Godmother is my probably all-time favorite Halloween movie. I watch it every single year and have for several years now, and I used to watch it every year as a child. I do not see nearly enough people talking about this movie, and yet it is not autumn until I have watched Scary Godmother. While the animation does leave something to be desired, as it is the early 2000 animation style, it just brings it a little bit more charm than, the animation styles now, where they're a little bit more polished and we have the technology to do better animation than we did in the early 2000s. But the animation style makes the movie absolute perfection. There's nothing out there that I love better than baking some Halloween cookies and watching Scary Godmother. I love it so much. It's just, like TikToks and reels that go around every year that are like early 2000s Halloween vibes or whatever. Yeah, like those vibes. They're nostalgic and wonderful. I watched Scary Godmother, well, both movies. There's two movies in the series, and I watch both movies every single year. I mean, who doesn't want a Scary Godmother to knit them spider webs from real spider silk and like give them decorations and invite them to a Halloween party every year and help them get revenge on the mean teenagers who bullied them and made them cry? Like, who doesn't want that, honestly? Come on. The first movie is called Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular, and it follows Hannah Marie, who is going trick-or-treating with her cousin Jimmy and his friends. They're all upset that a baby has to come trick-or-treating with them, and so they trick her into trick-or-treating at this notoriously haunted house, and they lock her inside, where she starts weeping, and her scary godmother shows up and whisks her away to the fright side. The fright side. Beautiful. Wonderful. Anyways, Hannah meets vampires, a skeleton, a werewolf, and a monster that hides under kids' beds to scare them. Fantastic party scenes with highly decorated spaces are included, and it's just a fun time. I envied Hannah as a child. I still envy Hannah. I want a scary godmother right now. Can one please adopt me? I would love that. That would be so great. And then the second movie, Scary Godmother, The Revenge of Jimmy, follows Hannah as she tries to save Halloween. Enough said, honestly. Again, perfectly highly themed scenes and cozy Halloween autumn vibes. They're both rather short movies, so I tend to do a double feature. And I highly recommend you check it out as well and do a double feature, maybe with some Halloween cookies or something, because honestly, it's just not Halloween or just not autumn until I watch Scary Godmother. Like, both movies, honestly. The next movie, like, there cannot be a nostalgic fall movie list without adding the classic and nostalgic Halloween Town. I'm not going to lie to you. I often skip the last one. I don't even know what it's called. They really messed up not putting Kimberly J. Brown in the last Halloween Town movie. So every year since I was a child and these movies came out, I've watched Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, and Halloween Town High. Halloween Town High is actually my favorite, but like Halloween Town without it like sets the stage to, make Halloween Town High possible. So I watch all three of them and I love them all. And even like Halloween Town 2 is absolute pure perfection, and it's just so much fun, and I just really love it. And I mean, everybody probably knows like what Halloween Town is at this point, as it's just like grown into this cult classic type of movie that everybody just talks about every year. And it's just, you see scenes from it everywhere, you see merch, whatever. Like, did you know that Kimberly J. Brown has an Etsy store where she makes Halloween Town merchandise? Like, I love her so much. Like, that's perfect. That's even better than like, you know, all of these people who are making like podcasts about like the shows, like the childhood shows that we watched. I think like the fact that she's on there making merchandise for like a show or like a movie that she was on in the early 2000s as a kid, and she still loves it, and like that's how she met her husband. It's perfect. And like they really messed up not putting her in the fourth one, and I'm still mad about it to this day. Like it completely ruined the like 4 like movies, but like not really. It just ruined like that last movie. But in case you don't know what Halloween Town is, or you just need a refresher, or you just want to hear me talk about it, briefly, Halloween Town follows Marnie, a tween girl who is obsessed with all things spooky and Halloween, and like as we all are, honestly, and finds out that she's a witch. Her grandmother, who is a witch, lives in a place called Halloween Town, where all the like Halloween-related monsters live. Marnie and her younger brother Dylan and her younger sister Sophie all go on a journey to save Halloween Town. Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, we revisit Marnie, her grandma, mom, Dylan, and Sophie as they are celebrating Halloween. Marnie and her grandmother get stuck in Halloween Town while Dylan and Sophie try to save their mom from a horrible date that's going just completely terrible. And lastly, Halloween Town High follows Marnie as she tries to show the human world that the people from Halloween Town aren't just evil monsters, and that they're more like us than we realize. And she does this by inviting people from Halloween Town to her high school as like a weird exchange program. They all lie and say they're like from Canada or something, and just like great high school scenes and like Halloween scenes, and it's perfection too. Honestly, I love it so much, and it's just great. And I don't even have the capability of forming complete sentences or thoughts on this movie because I have to watch it every single year because it's just so fantastic and perfect. This probably won't come as a shock to anyone though, but I wanted to be Marnie so badly as a child. A definite watch every autumn. The next movie on my list, cutest, coziest movie I think I've ever watched for Halloween, ever. Cute, cozy, fantastic, pure perfection as well, honestly. The Little Vampire is such a cute movie, and it is perfect for a nostalgic autumn movie playlist. Definitely an October watch, in my opinion. I loved this movie so much as a child, and I remember watching it quite a few times, and I rewatched it for the first time a few years ago, and it held up. It held up throughout all of these years. It is not cringy. It is not like there's not, it's not problematic in any way. It's literally just like pure perfection. Okay, I don't know if it's problematic. I didn't find it to be. Maybe other people will. I have no idea, but I think it's pure perfection. The epitome of cozy fall, autumn, Halloween vibes. Just pure coziness, honestly. The Little Vampire follows a 9-year-old boy named Tony who's from America, and his family moves to Scotland, where he gets entangled with some vampires, one of them supposedly more towards his 9-year-old age. And the cutest story of friendship, the absolute purest, cutest story of friendship, evolves from this meeting of Tony and the vampire. And it unfolds as the two try to help each other with like the problems they have going on. And it's just so cute and cozy and heartwarming, and like I highly, highly recommend. It's perfect. Just absolute perfection. And in my opinion, it's also very family friendly. It did play on Disney Channel when I was little, which, you know, is like a sign that it's family friendly. So perfect. Okay, let's be real. I watched this next movie all year long. It's not just reserved for autumn or Halloween. I watch it all year long. It is my go-to comfort movie to watch. And that movie is Practical Magic. It is perfectly nostalgic, perfectly autumnal. It had to be on this list, but I do watch it every month. I think I watch it. I watch it all year long. It doesn't matter the season, doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter anything at all. I love it, and it is my comfort go-to cozy movie when I just, need to relax and be comforted. I absolutely love Practical Magic, and I have since I was a kid. It stars Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. Like, what more could you want, honestly? Like, does that tell you everything you need to know? Because honestly, I think it does. But that might just be me. So, Practical Magic follows Sally and Jillian Owens, who are born into a magical family that carries a terrible curse. Any man who dares love an Owens woman ends up dying. Jillian finds herself in a less than ideal relationship, and her boyfriend ends up dying unexpectedly. So Jillian calls Sally for help, and it's jam-packed with witchcraft, sisterly familial love, and self-empowerment. Really, I always feel very empowered when I watch this movie, and it just makes me so warm and cozy on the inside and makes me feel like I can do whatever I want. The Owens live in this beautiful Victorian house that I think nearly everyone wishes that they could live in, and Practical Magic is just so good. It's so fantastic, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's not I don't know. I mean, I watched it as a kid, so I view it as being very family friendly, although there is some language in it and some maybe more questionable things depending on what you as a family and as a person want to expose your children to, but it's perfect. It's perfection, and I highly recommend. I feel like I keep saying I highly recommend for literally every single video that we're talking about, or every single movie that we're talking about, every single one. I'm like, I highly recommend this and I think you should watch it. But it's true, I do highly recommend it, and I do think that you should watch it. I really do. Every single movie on my nostalgic list just brings me personally so much joy. So many cozy, nostalgic vibes, which I know if you didn't watch it as a child, it probably won't bring you the nostalgic vibes that it brings me. But I think you should give it a try, because most of them are just cozy, fun, Halloween vibe shenanigans that I think are just good to for this time of year, honestly. I only have one more nostalgic movie, though, on my nostalgic autumn list that I will be sharing with you today. And that movie is The Halloween Tree. It's based... Sorry, there was a bug. Right. Anyways, The Halloween Tree is based off of the novel of the same name by Ray Bradbury. It's another movie that I watched as a kid, and I loved it so much. I watched it so many times. I watched it so many times that I could say the lines along with the movie of every single character and every single scene. I knew it so well. And it takes place on Halloween night and follows this group of friends as they travel back in time and they learn more about the origins of Halloween. I'm still completely obsessed with this movie to this day. I watch it every year still, and I even read the book a few years ago. And it's perfect. It's perfection. It also has the late 90s animation style, so it's not quite today's polished animation styles, but it's still perfect and cozy and fun, and there's an adventure and just Halloween shenanigans and all of the perfect autumn Halloween vibes. I mean, this kid carries around a pumpkin the entire movie, and they're all dressed in costumes, and they change their costumes depending on what they're doing and where they are, and it just goes through the different traditions that different places have for Halloween or used to have for Halloween. It's definitely a very good intro to this is where our Halloween comes from that we celebrate here in the US, and a good intro to do more research on this topic. But it's still fun, it's still cozy, it's still informational, and it's just a good watch every year. So I make sure it's on my list every single year, and every single year I watch it still. Sometimes I watch it when it's not even Halloween because it's just another good cozy movie to watch when I need cozy, feel-good, nostalgic vibes. I have 3 movies on my perfectly autumn playlist, or like movie list. And only one of these I've actually watched. The other 2 I haven't watched. They've been recommended to me, or I like looked it up on the internet, and these were like some of the most highly recommended movies to watch in this like category that I've set up for myself. I've titled this list Perfectly Autumn or Perfectly Fall because the movies encapsulate fall. The fall vibes and everything are there in these movies. We will start with the one movie that I have watched, which is Dead Poets Society. When looking at fall movies, Dead Poets Society ends up on like every single list, or like thereabout. You know, it's pretty highly recommended, and it's pretty highly recommended to watch in the fall. It's dark academia, back to school, autumn clothes, autumn vibes. You know, all of those fun vibes that we're looking for this time of year. And then this is the Google synopsis because I really enjoyed the synopsis of it, and it's better than what I could have done myself. So the Dead Poets Society, the Google synopsis. A new English teacher, John Keating, is introduced to an all-boys preparatory school that is known for its ancient traditions and high standards. He uses unorthodox methods to reach out to his students who face enormous pressures from their parents and the school. With Keating's help, students Neil Perry, Todd Anderson, and others learn to break out of their shells, pursue their dreams, and seize the day. I will definitely be watching Dead Poets Society this fall, but probably more towards November because that's when I feel the most dark academia for myself personally. And it's one that I just associate more towards the end of autumn and more like in the winter for some reason, even though at the beginning of the movie they like are just starting school, like they're going back to school. So it's definitely just a fall movie in general. But for myself personally, I will be watching it more in November than September or October because the dark academia vibes are there. All right, the next movie, I've never seen this movie, but it was recommended to me, I think, by my sister, although I can't remember, but it's All That Heaven Allows. Again, here's the Google synopsis. I'll try not to use the like other synopses as much as possible, but sometimes like if I don't know what I'm talking about, this is just easier than me rambling about it. So here's the Google synopsis. Predicated on a May-December romance. The difference here is that the woman, attractive widow Carrie Scott, is considerably older than the man, handsome gardener landscaper Ron Kirby. Throwing conventional behavior to the winds and facing social ostracism, Carrie pursues her romance with Ron, who is unjustly perceived as a fortune hunter by Carrie's friends and family, especially her priggish brother Ned. I was told this was an autumnal movie. We're gonna find out if it's an autumnal movie. The next one, though, is definitely an autumnal movie. It's one that's probably on every single list you'll find ever, on like everything. But believe it or not, I've never watched Harry Met Sally. I've never really had like an interest in watching it either, but I've heard it has great fall vibes, and that's what I'm after, so it's on this list. Again, here's the Google synopsis because I don't honestly know anything about this movie, so we're learning together right now. In 1977, college graduates Harry Burns and Sally Albright share a contentious car ride from Chicago to New York, during which they argue about whether men and women can ever truly be strictly platonic friends. 10 years later, Harry and Sally meet again at a bookstore, and in the company of their respective best friends, Jess and Marie, attempt to stay friends. So, those are my 3 perfectly fall movies that I've been found and added to my list. It's still kind of an ongoing list, but those are 3 that I'll definitely be watching this autumn to get those autumn cozy vibes. All right, so I've changed not locations, but the way that I was setting because the sun was shining directly into my eyes as the sun moves throughout the day. I think that that's all of the movies that I'll be sharing today. I'll save some of the more like terrifyingly horror movies for a later time, for a more spoopy time. So moving on from movies and moving to TV shows. Some TV shows that I will be watching this fall include Gilmore Girls. Who doesn't watch Gilmore Girls in the fall? I actually watch it all year long. It's usually it's on in the background while I'm doing homework or working on other stuff. I've seen it so many times, I know what happens, and it's just cozy and gives me like the comfort and serotonin, and I just want to live in Stars Hollow, like every single person who watches Gilmore Girls. Like, I think every single person who watches Gilmore Girls wants to live in Stars Hollow. So that's just, it's a classic Halloween TV, or not Halloween, it's a classic autumn TV show that like every single person puts on their autumn list. And it's on Netflix too, so like it's easy. It's probably other places, but it's on Netflix, so it's easy to binge. It's easy to put on in the background, and I do all year round. I don't save it for autumn. I watch it all year round. But the autumn scenes hit different. It's so different during autumn. And like, I was just watching Gilmore Girls the other day, and there was this scene where they're walking through like the main town area, and they like the very opening scene, it's got this scarecrow standing like right in like the right hand corner of the screen as like Rory and Lorelai are like walking out, and it's like there's pumpkins and hay and everything all around, and it's just so visually pleasing for autumn people. It's great. All of the scenes honestly are just highly thematic and highly decorated, and like the sets are fantastic. The vibes are all just there. That's all I have to say, honestly. Another TV show that I think is just perfect to watch during autumn is Scooby-Doo. Whether that's Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Scooby-Doo, like What's New Scooby-Doo? Any of that. I actually really love Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And What's New Scooby-Doo. I don't think one is better than the other. And I will be watching both. I've already started watching Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And I've put it on in the background as background noise in a way, and something else to like just have on in the background and provide me those cozy vibes while I'm getting other stuff done. So Scooby-Doo, Where Are You is from like the 1960s, I believe, so it's a little bit older. What's New Scooby-Doo, I believe, is from like the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s or something, I don't know. Simple Plan does the theme song for Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, so definitely I think early 2000s. But both are just super fun, super cozy, super great, super thematic, super mystery. Like, do you need me to say anything else? I don't know. But watch whatever Scooby-Doo you want to watch this year. There's autumnal season. Just Scooby-Doo is just a good choice every autumn. Last year when Wednesday came out, I did not watch it. I wanted to, but I did not watch it. So I think this year I'm definitely going to watch Wednesday. It's at like the top of my list of like new TV shows to watch. Not ones that I've watched before, not ones that I put on in the background, ones that I'm going to like set down and like pay attention and watch. And it just seems like such a great October TV show, so I'll probably save it for October specifically. But I'm so excited to watch it. It just came out last year, for those who don't know. And it follows Wednesday Addams as she goes to this preparatory school. So it's got the dark academia vibes as well. And yeah, that's really all I know about it, despite the fact that it's been out for so long and people are just always talking about it. And like there's that dancing scene that went around that I think is taken out of context a lot, but everybody's like freaking out over this dancing scene. So yeah, Wednesday's definitely at the top of my list of movies to watch this autumn, probably most likely more in October. And then Only Murders in the Building. I'm actually almost done as we're speaking now with Only Murders in the Building. Actually, by the time that this video is posted, I'll probably already have been done with Only Murders in the Building. They have 2 seasons right now. The second season was just released, and so I'm gonna have to wait like another year if they do another season. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten there yet, but if they end up doing another season, I'm gonna have to wait like a whole other year. But it's been so fun to watch. I think it's a perfect autumn movie. The outfits are like to die for. I love like every single outfit, or almost every single outfit that Selena Gomez wears as her like character Mabel in this TV show. But it follows Mabel, who is played by Selena Gomez, and an older man named Charles Hayden Savage, who's like 75, and another slightly older man whose name is completely slipping my mind right now. Cannot think of it, but it follows these three characters as they investigate a murder that has happened in their apartment building. They're all three completely obsessed over this true crime podcast, and that's what connects them together. And then a murder happens in their building, and they all three decide to investigate and create their own podcast. And the second season is even more fun than like the first season, in my opinion. It's just like the twists and the turns are crazy throughout this entire thing. And I'm having so much fun watching it, and it's definitely a perfect, cozy fall TV show to watch. And it's fun and it's funny and it's not super serious, and it's great. I love it. I've loved every single second of it, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for like cozy true crime vibes this season. And that is all of the TV shows that I plan on watching this autumn season. Not very many. I am currently in grad school. I'm studying I'm working on getting 2 different degrees, and so I'm always super busy, but I'm excited to watch these TV shows and the movies during my downtime. All right, now that we're done with movies and TV shows, it's time to move on to my personal favorite thing in the entire world, and that's books. I love reading. It's fantastic. I love books. But I've never been a seasonal reader. However, I want to change that this year, and I want to become a seasonal reader. I want to be able to read books about autumn and Halloween to help get me in to the Halloween and autumn and spoopy and fun and cozy vibes that always come with this time of year. And I think reading books specifically picked out for this season will just make my autumn more autumnal and cozy and fun and warm and inviting. And so I have a few books that I want to read. I don't have very many because, like I said, I'm in grad school and I have to do a lot of reading for my grad school classes. So that doesn't afford me very much time to read, unfortunately, the fun books that I want to pick out for myself. However, I would really, really like to read the entire Practical Magic series by Alice Hoffman. I read the first book. As I said, Practical Magic the movie is like my all-time favorite movie, and Practical Magic the book was really good. The movie and the book are definitely different. They follow the same premise of like Sally and Gillian Owens and the sisterly connections and like the Owens family curse, but the movie is definitely much more neat and tied up and cute and cozy, whereas like the book is a little bit more messy, and just as books often can be, they're just a little more messy, a little more real, honestly, and less 90s rom-com. So I really enjoyed the book though, and I'm really looking forward to rereading it. I've reread it several times, and I tend to try to reread it around autumn every year, but sometimes I read it at other points in the year, and it has been a few years since I've read it, so I'd really like to read it, but I also want to read it in the context of the other books that Alice Hoffman has released. She's released prequels and sequels, and I think that's it, but like there's 4 whole books in this series now, and I want to read them in sequential order that they've happened, not in sequential order that they've been published, but in the order that they've happened. You don't have to. You can pick up whichever one you want and read that one first, and it doesn't matter. They're all like standalone, but like they provide different context and different things. Like I read, oh my gosh, now I don't remember what it's called, but it was the first book published after Practical Magic, and it followed Aunt Jet, and it followed the aunts and their romance and past and like their experiences. So it was really cool to get that insight into like their lives and some of the stories that they tell in the book and in the movies, and just see like how it affects not only Sally and Gillian, but how it affected them as well. And then there's like a prequel to that as well, and then I believe there's a sequel now, or there has been, to Practical Magic, and I just want to read them in sequential order. I think it'd be so fun and just like provide even more insight into this world that I actually really enjoy reading about. Alice Hoffman did a fantastic job world building. I mean, it takes place in our world, but like she did a great job with like the lore behind like the Owens family and the curse and everything. So it's just really fun, and I really want to read all of the books for that. And then another book, I just recently got it in the mail, but I don't have it with me. I accidentally left it at home, is Scritch Scratch. And I don't really know what it's about. It was like, I found it on Darling Desi's channel, and I just really wanted to read it. Like, she just made it sound so good. So I ended up getting it from Thrift Books, and I'm excited to read it this autumnal season. It sounded really good. So another book that I really want to read is The Girl in White by Lindsay Curry. It's another book that I found from Darling Desi's channel, and she described it as like the setting of Salem meets Sleepy Hollow meets Halloween Town, and honestly, that was enough for me. I was like, that's it. I have to read it. And another book, I've pre-ordered it. I also don't know anything about this book. It's The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall. And again, Darling Desi said that it was the perfect blend of Gilmore Girls and practical magic. That was all I needed, so I pre-ordered it, and I'll be getting it super soon, and I'm so excited to read it. It's definitely going to be one that's like high on my list to read. Some books that I've read in the past that I'm going to try to revisit or think that you should read include the graphic novel series Garlic and the Vampire and Garlic and the Witch. Those are the only two books out right now, and they're perfect, fun, colorful, wonderful, highly thematic, like just absolutely perfect. Perfection. They're cute, they're cozy. I want to be Garlic. I think I am Garlic. I think Garlic encompasses me, and pure magic, pure perfection. It's just great, honestly. Everything about it is great. I highly recommend. Then there's Sheets. I believe there's also 2 graphic novels in this series, and it's about a ghost and a girl, and it's great and highly colorful, highly thematic pages. Gives you all the cozy, spoopy vibes, and I just highly recommend that one as well. I love it so much, and I'm going to be rereading that one this season as well. Another book that I want to read is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. It's a fantasy sci-fi that takes place in a coffee shop. It sounds super cozy. That's really all I know. And then the one book that I do have with me, because I've been setting out here in the forest reading a little bit of it, is The Saturday Night Ghost Club. I believe it came out a couple of years ago, and I saw everybody reading it, and I wanted to pick it up. I really didn't know very much about it. I picked it up this year for the first time I bought it. And I don't know very much about it, or I didn't know very much about it going into it. And it's surprising me so far, but it takes place in the 1980s, and the main character, Jake, he spends a lot of time with his eccentric uncle, Calvin, and Calvin owns an occult shop, and Jake spends a lot of time there, and he ends up in this ghost club that his uncle's created, and what's supposed to be light and fun quickly turns into something dark and heavy, and less light and fun than it started out being. It's considered a coming of age story, and it's told, the like narration style is very interesting to me, because it starts out with Jake as an adult, and so far all of the stories are about memories, and I just think that that's really, really interesting. It's not told in the moment, it's told from Jake's memories, and I don't know, I'm not very far into it. I'm only like 44 pages into it so far, so I'm not super far into it, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm really hoping to finish it soon. I know that 44 pages isn't that far into it, but hopefully soon. One quote that I found to be very interesting, and kind of, if you don't know anything about it, or are interested in this idea of like the story, like his story being told from the memory, is there's just this quote. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It's about memories, It says the brain is the seat of memory, and memory is a tricky thing. At base level, memories are stories, and sometimes these stories we tell allow us to carry on. Sometimes stories are the best we can hope for. They simply help us to get by. I'm like, what are we all doing if not reading stories to get by? Or like, you know, you all like sit around with like your families and friends and whatever, and you like chat this time of year, I feel like, about memories in the past and things you did over the summer and like last year and like as a child, and you sit around the campfire and it's just cozy and fun. I don't know. But this book, it's surprising me. And I'm very, very much enjoying it, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. So all right, so those are the books that I have decided that I want to try to read this autumnal, Halloween, spooky, autumn, whatever season. So moving on from books, we're going to move on to some autumnal activities. A lot of these are things that I plan on doing this year that I think will just epitome of autumn. It will make me feel so autumnal and just the best cozy vibes going into my least favorite season after autumn, which is winter. Just a good way to end out the year for me personally. Winter is definitely like not part of the year for me. Autumn is like the end of the year. So just a good way to like round out the year. These are some autumnal activities that I plan on doing this autumn. First, well, not first necessarily, but one activity I plan on doing is going on an autumnal leaf peeping road trip to Stowe, Vermont this year, and just seeing what all the hype is about. I've heard Stowe, Vermont is very beautiful, and I've never been to Vermont, or at least not in autumn, and I'm super excited to go there. We plan on, going and seeing all of the fall foliage and doing all of that, and also maybe stopping in at some local shops and local restaurants and possibly picking up some apple cider donuts and maybe going pumpkin picking, and who knows, honestly, just like the world awaits. But one thing, like, we are going to Vermont and we are going to see the fall foliage there and see what all of the hype in Stowe, Vermont is, and I'm just so excited to get to go there this year. But we're only going to spend like a day there, so it's not very long, unfortunately, but that's okay because I have plenty of other things that I will be doing this autumn that probably also include leaf peeping and other autumnal things. Another activity that I will be doing this fall, and I'm dead set on doing it, is going apple picking. I've never been apple picking before, and I really, really want to go apple picking. It is like top priority on my list is to go apple picking, and I think I'm going to get to go so super soon. Another thing that's just on my list every single year, I want to go to a pumpkin patch and to a corn maze, and those will definitely be things that I will be doing. I will be going and getting a pumpkin and going through the corn maze and hopefully not getting lost in the corn maze, and just like going home with my pumpkin prize and that I've picked up out of the fields, and I'm so excited. I love going to the pumpkin patch. It's like the classic epitome fall activity, and there's nothing better to do in the fall than to go to a pumpkin patch and look at all of the pumpkins and go through the corn maze. And depending on where you go, I know you can get different like foods, and there's activities and games, and just it depends on where you go. But I love going to the pumpkin patch and looking at all the pumpkins and meticulously picking out the best pumpkin I can find, or pumpkins. Sometimes I leave with more than one. One year, a couple of years ago, I picked out the biggest. My goal was to find the biggest pumpkin I could find, and I could barely carry the pumpkin home. But it was so fun to go through and look at all the pumpkins and find what I believed to be the biggest pumpkin in the patch. So I don't know what my goal this year will be, but I'm looking forward to going to the pumpkin patch and picking out at least one pumpkin, if not more. I will also probably end up buying some pumpkins from the store, as I want to decorate my living room with pumpkins. I got this idea from Darling Desi a few years ago. She decorated her living room to look like a pumpkin patch, and my living room is unfortunately very small, and so it's not gonna look, well, it's probably gonna look like a pumpkin patch, but I plan on just getting a couple of big pumpkins to stack up and some little pumpkins to sprinkle about my house. And I'm super excited about that. I will be decorating for fall so soon and Halloween, and that involves, you know, putting out all of the Christmas lights, all of the Halloween lights and the decorations and all of the pumpkins and all of the stuff, and I'm so excited. Another activity that I plan on doing is going to Salem. I actually don't save Salem for autumn. In fact, in the last year, I believe I've been to Salem almost 10 times. Out of 12 months, almost 10 times. I love going to Salem. Going to Salem feels like returning home for me. It feels wonderful, and I love going there. Not so much in October though, because that's when it gets really busy, but going in November or going in the spring, those were like fantastic times. And not this past summer, but the summer before that, we went in July and we did like a ghost hunt, or not a ghost hunt, a ghost tour. And we went to some of the museums, and it was like my first real proper foray into Salem, and it really cemented my love for it. I'd gone one other time before that, and I just didn't have a good time, and I was really let down by that, because Salem is my favorite, or like Salem was on my like list of things that I had to do in my life. I wanted to go to Salem, and just now Salem feels like going home. I know where everything's at. Actually, I know where everything's at more in Salem than where I actually live. Like, it's crazy. I can get to pretty much anywhere in Salem, and I love it so much. I will spend money on the same museums. Like, I'll go to like the witch museum every single time I go there. And like, that's not one that like changes. It's like the same thing, and you like get to watch the same stuff and see the same stuff and learn about the same stuff. But I will go every single time I go to Salem, because I love it. It's so great. And like, the witch house is wonderful. There's just so many great things to do. One thing that I will be doing when I go to Salem is going to the Haunted Market, which is just this marketplace that like pop-up thing that happens, I believe, every weekend or almost every weekend in October. And they have vendors come and sell stuff. And I went last year for the first time, and it was just so fun and cozy. And I loved going and seeing what like people were selling, and I found so many great things, and I am so excited to get to go again this year. That's definitely a like priority for me, is going to Salem and going to this marketplace. Another activity that I want to do is carve turnips. A few years ago, my sister and I carved turnips, and it was so fun. It was so easy, and we put them outside with little tea lights in them, and like, it was just so fun. So I plan on carving turnips, hopefully with my sister. I'm not too sure. We haven't finalized details yet on that, but I really hope to carve turnips this year again, because honestly, it was way more fun than carving a pumpkin. I just struggle carving pumpkins. It is not a good time for me. I end up painting them. I end up getting like the small pumpkins and just painting them. So like, carving the turnips, you can go and get like a bunch of turnips for like kind of really cheap, and just like carve them so easily. You don't have to have any upper body strength whatsoever, which is perfect for me. Another activity that I will be doing is boo baskets with my boyfriend. We will be setting up some ground rules for these boo baskets, and then getting each other these just fantastically curated boo baskets. We were going to do this last year, but unfortunately we didn't get to, and so this year it made it onto this list, and like, my priority is to do these boo baskets. So I'm super excited for them, and super excited to go shopping for these items and put this cute little basket together. If you don't know what a boo basket is, it is like a Halloween basket, pretty much. Like, you just pick out Halloween themed stuff, or like stuff like that, and put them into this cute little Halloween basket, and then you can trade them with like your partner, your friend, whatever, whoever you want. You can just trade them, or you can just make them. Make it for yourself, honestly. Like, I'm about to make one for myself as well, because it just sounds so fun. So that's definitely a priority this year, is to make fruit baskets, and I'm super excited about it. Some other things that I plan on doing is going for a nature walk under the fall foliage and picking up leaves and acorns and other like stuff, other nature stuff. But definitely picking up leaves and then like pressing them in a book and preserving them and saving them. I'm super like obsessed with that idea this year, and I'm so excited to do it. I've never pressed leaves before, so I'm excited to preserve them and save them and have them as like tokens of where I've been this autumn. I also plan on doing some pumpkin baking. I love making pumpkin cupcakes and baking in general, so I just hope to do some more baking using pumpkin as an ingredient. So that'll be really fun. And then my last kind of thing that I want to do, which is more towards the end, like after October, is having a dark academia themed day, where I can get like dressed up in like the dark academia style and go do some dark academia things. And I might have a vlog about that later too, possibly, but it's definitely going to be something that I will be doing more towards November, because as I've said previously, November is my like dark academia month for myself personally. I don't know why, but November just has the dark academia cozy vibes for me personally. So that's going to be more towards the end, more towards November, which is good because November is usually when I start to feel sad, because we're approaching winter rather quickly, and I'm not a huge fan of winter. Hopefully we can change that this year. But right now we're focused on autumn. It is the first day of autumn, and I'm so excited that we are finally here on the first day of autumn. And just like it's utter perfection today too. We've had the perfect fall weather. It's been the perfect blend of chilly and cozy. I was in a sweater, then I like the sun was on me, so I was getting baked and I had to take it off, and now I'm chilly again. I need to be all cozy in my sweater. And just it's been like the perfect first day of autumn. I'm so glad that we're here. I'm so glad that we're in autumn, and I'm so excited to be here spending autumn with you. If you want to follow on my journey, please subscribe. I will be posting content bi-weekly, so I'll see you again in 2 weeks. But I will be posting content more regularly on Instagram at Goblin Girl Ash. I will have the specific one linked, or not linked, but like down in the description. I will also have other various information linked in the description. I'll have timestamps and stuff, as this has been a rather long video, so you can skip around as you want and see what you want to watch, what you don't want to watch. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a perfect day, and I'm so excited I got to spend it with you. So I hope you have a perfect first day of autumn. Happy autumn equinox to those who celebrate, and I will be seeing you soon.